And welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review, and this is Xanatu from GOC Fruit Cantina. What's up, fruits? What's happening? Shout out to the Fruit Cantina. Now, Xanatu has been playing since the very beginning, and was completely and utterly free to play all up until just very recently. Turned to a dolphin a couple of months ago. Started investing a little bit monthly into the game. After a couple of years, why not? You're really enjoying it, but you've been there since the beginning. Now, you have a unique problem. It's actually not very unique. It's the problem that a lot of people have, and that is you're on one of the very beginning leaderboards or shards, and so you have a hyper-competitive leaderboard in regular arena and ships, and you're really struggling to get up into that top 100. You can get into the top 200 pretty easily, but then you kind of fall back, and I get that. Side note, I just noticed you have the Chimera. You unlocked that today. I'm sure by the time this video goes live, it'll have been a couple of weeks ago, but I am pretty proud of you for that. You're on the right track with the Chimera for sure, and even a 5-star will be totally viable. So you had a lot that you asked for, a ton. Luckily, I can go through it pretty quickly, but you wanted to know about, you know, what you're going to do in arena. Should you go this way with RJT? Should you go back to CLS? Should you do fleet? Which one's best? Which one should you not focus on? Mods? Which schedule should you do? Should you keep the schedule you've been doing or not? Heroic AAT, phase 2 and 3, or 3 and 4 teams, light side territory battles, dark side territory battles. Can I get the Chimera? Which you got it. The next Zeta or Zetas, you've got a bunch that you're trying to save and you want to do a shout out. Plus you wanted me to take a look at all of the different dark side teams and really focus on what you need to focus on. Okay. This is like supposed to be a 10-minute video, but we're going to get there. So arena, you asked, should you stay with RJT? And I am going to tell you absolutely unequivocally yes. And this is why. First, you're on a super competitive leaderboard. You're not really going to get into the top 50 right now anyway, so who cares, right? Develop out a team that's going to make the most sense in the long term of the game. RJT, or Ray, with her BB-8 and R2-D2 are 3 of a 5-man team that kicks the hat's butt. Phase 2, 3, and 4, completely decimated, 30 million plus damage, all because of Ray, BB-8, R2-D2, plus Thrawn and CLS. You have Thrawn and CLS, and so you do, yes, need to develop out Ray and BB-8. If you're going to develop out and max out Ray and BB-8 for the hat, then, because that's the team I'm suggesting for the hat, then you might as well use them for arena. And this is the other cool side effect. This team, while it's also very fun to play, it's a control team. It's a very good control team to control the opponent, which helps you climb. You'll actually be able to climb better than you've been able to climb in the past. Now, you do have Thrawn and you have Han Solo, Stormtrooper Han in your team. I personally, because it really doesn't matter and you're dropping anyway every day, I would put in Thrawn for even more control so you can really climb higher, and that way you'll probably end up falling less because you've got more control. And the AI, while the AI doesn't use it perfectly, it's such a crazy control team, I think you'll be fine. Now, where your real hiccup is your BB-8's only gear 8. So obviously you're going to want to continue gearing all these characters up. But I personally would throw Thrawn into that 5th slot and pull out Stormtrooper Han. Now, in the long term, I actually would work on your old Ben, who is gear 9. Your old Ben has no mods on it right now, but you've got an old Ben at gear 9, 7-star. So he's not ready yet to be thrown into the fires of arena, but this is a really good tank to pair with Ray Jedi Training. And so you've got most of his abilities pretty leveled up, and eventually you could put a Zeta on his Devoted Protector, which is super irritating and annoying to go against. And so get him up to gear 11, throw a Zeta on his Devoted Protector, put him in that slot where Thrawn is, and you could even use Thrawn or CLS in that 5th slot in the background with Old Ben, and it's just amazing what they accomplished together. So Old Ben, though, is really one of the best tanks for this particular one. Now, I know you're in a great guild now, phenomenal guild. What's up, fruits? Haha, no. But they are just now getting you your General Kenobi shards, and I know eventually you're going to unlock General Kenobi and you're going to go all in, but that is a period of time away. It would not be a bad idea to still invest in Obi-Wan. Plus, even if you invested in Old Ben and then you got General Kenobi, you could put the two together in the background and make the team Tide, the Tide team that I had put a video out on, and that team is phenomenal defensively and should do you really, really good for getting into that top 100 and kind of staying there. So flesh out Old Ben, work him off, finish him off, try and get him leveled up, work RJT in Arena, you'll be fine with that. As far as fleet goes, you've got a lot of really good ships and you're working on them. In your main lineup, I noticed that your team looks pretty much exactly how I'd suggest, except I would dump the Umbaran now. Now that you're going into a control team that's very hyper offense focused, I actually, because Chimera is one of the slowest capital ships, I actually recommend the TIE Reaper. The TIE Reaper will create a balance and prevent the other capital ship from getting to do their ultimates and really give you even more control. The TIE Reaper under Chimera is absolutely insane. So you definitely want to get the TIE Reaper developed with the ship pilots developed and get it in. But in the meantime, you can leave the Umbaran in there, but that's the long-term goal. Get TIE Reaper and replace the Umbaran. In your backup, you could also have Slave 1, Scimitar, Poe. Poe Dameron's ship is really, really good. Now, you mentioned that you're farming for mods on the weekends and farming for characters on the weekdays. You said that I had suggested that in previous reviews and you liked that. Should you keep with it because you're still struggling with mods more than you would like to, and you want to have more mods like everybody? So I'm going to suggest a slight modification. Instead of doing 5 and 2, do 4 and 3. Spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday doing mods. It's one extra day for mods, so it should give you, in theory, a third more mods than you're currently acquiring. That should help accelerate the mod game just a little bit for you, and you are going to have to get your mods leveled up. But all in all, that's good. As far as the heroic AAT, the P3 and 4 team that I mentioned, that would be the Rey, Jedi Training Rey with BB-8 and R2-D2. So definitely want to work on those. Of course, Thrawn and CLS, which you have 7 stars. Now, you asked about the light side territory battles, and you asked, should you, for that, focus on Rogue One? You thought that would be a good idea. And yes, it's required all the way through to Phase 6. Rogue One is. There's even a Phase 6 node for Rogue One Rebels. And so I highly recommend that you get your Rogue One developed up to at least Gear 11. You don't have to do any Zetas on any of them. Just get them to Gear 11 and decent mods, and you should be able to clear all of the light side. Plus, I use Rogue One from Phase 1 to Phase 6 on whatever Rebel node there is, and they help me get a perfect score every single time at Gear 11. So definitely want to develop out your Rogue One. You have Jyn Erso, 7 stars, Gear 8. You're going to want to get her up to Gear 11. K2SO and Cassian to Gear 8, both of them respectively. And you can obviously use your Chirrut and Baze, except your Chirrut is 6 stars, Baze is 4 stars, and Chirrut and Baze are both at Gear 1. What? Who doesn't develop Chirrut and Baze? Wow. Like you said, did I lose the Chirrut and Baze train or whatever? Now, I understand with Baze, you can't take him in past that 3rd stage because he's a 4-star and he's really hard to farm. But by now, with the characters you have, especially with Rey, you should be able to unlock his node and start actively farming him. And I know that it's going to take a while, but you should definitely be passively getting up Chirrut, Baze, both to 7 stars and to Gear 11. They're really great characters, and their in-game characters. I also noticed a couple Han Solos in the bottom, your Han Solo, OG Han Solo, and your Captain Han Solo, and both of those are probably the next 2 light side characters I would recommend for territory battles and then just generally in the game, period. So Chirrut, Baze, Han Solo, and Captain Han Solo, those 4 are who I would really focus on for light side territory battles. As far as dark side territory battles, You mentioned you were going to be working on Imperial Troopers and said, should you go to Sith next or something else next? I looked at your Sith. Your Sith look great. I looked at your Imperial Troopers and they're terrible. So this is where you need to focus, my friend. This is the second best team in Darkside Territory battles. And your Night Sisters look pretty good, but you're kind of at a linchpin with them because of the stars for certain really important characters such as Mother Talzin. So you can only do so much with that team. This team is totally and completely free to play. So you definitely want to focus on focus on these characters. Now you're probably wondering, of all 7 characters, which are the top 5? All of them but the Magma Trooper and Stormtrooper. Those are the most important. Colonel Stark, General Veers, Snow Trooper, Shore Trooper, and Death Trooper are all really, really important in many places of the game. So this is what you're going to want to focus on and max out, and you're going to see significant improvement in the Darkside Territory battles with this team. You also asked, did you have what it took to get Chimera? But then, of course, I noticed you unlocked it today, so congrats again. And then you asked about Zetas, and you said, who should I be Zetaing? And my very first Zeta suggestion is, 1, get BB-8 up higher. Finish maxing off his Omegas, but his unique roll with the punches takes him from okay to really great. All the countering, and he's pulling in, another resistance to counter as well. So he's, getting tenacity down and then an assist, which is a stun, from R2-D2 or something. It's just a really great... It really punishes people for trying to go for BB-8. So you definitely, again, want to finish gearing him up. At gear 8, he's really not even arena viable. He's such a squishy little mo. But I would definitely, like I said, put Thrawn in the background with CLS and then finish gearing him up. But for me, BB-8's Zeta would be the first Zeta I would do. And then the second one, surprisingly, I know you're going to go, what is Old Ben's taunt? And I would put Old Ben in the background once you get him to gear 11. And then after you have the Old Ben's taunt and he's geared up and you have BB-8 geared up and his Zeta roll with the punches, after that, I would go 50% Zeta, 50% Zeta on Rey and CLS. I would do 1 on Rey, 1 on CLS, 1 on Rey, 1 on CLS, 1 on Rey, 1 on CLS. The 2 of them are, 2 of the top 5 best characters in the game. And so to max out their Zetas is not a bad thing. That's 6 freaking Zetas on 2 characters. It's absolute insanity. So that's why I suggest actually BB-8 and Old Ben first, because there's only really 1 that you need on each of those characters. But then you can kind of go back and forth on Rey to really max out Rey and CLS, because you will in fact want to eventually put all those Zetas on those 2 characters. So that's really set up. Now R2-D2 does have some Zetas, obviously, and you could, before you go to Rey and CLS, you could finish R2-D2 off by doing combat analysis. It will help cleanse your team. It creates a cleanser of sorts for your entire light side team. So pretty cool. Definitely helps with the dark side, or excuse me, it definitely helps with the light side territory battles when you bring R2-D2 in, because there's so much debuffing. It helps your team cleanse itself. So pretty cool. Definitely, though, I would recommend you just try and put those Zetas on those utility characters that are kind of peripheral first, because then you can use them in other parts of the game and you'll feel accomplished that you have those characters kind of done. And then you can really focus on those big 2, CLS and Rey. They do make a huge difference, those Zetas do. So I did your shout out to the Fruit Cantina. What's up, Fruits? Again, Arena, go all in on RJT. I think Old Ben is a hidden secret for you. Obviously, you want to finish off BB-8. Mods, give yourself an extra day. Fleet, we talked about, down the road dumping the Umbaran for TIE Reaper, but you have to level it up. For the Heroic AAT, the team that'll go through phase 2, 3, and 4 will be your top 3 in Arena plus Thrawn and CLS. So basically your Arena team will be your hat team. Pretty cool. Finish out your Rogue One, also Han Solo and Captain Han Solo, and work on your Imperial Troopers. Get those up. You're looking really good. I'm really excited for you to get this and to have confirmation that you're on the right direction, because you really are. You sent me a journal of like 20 pages, so you obviously really care about doing well in the game, and it looks like that. I'm really happy for you. If you have any other questions, hit me up. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.